Hello guys, welcome back home. If this is your first time of watching my videos, I'm Raphael and currently a pharmacy student at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I scored 99 in my UTME chemistry and this is the result. 99 is the highest you can score in any given subject in your 4 subject combinations in Jamb. I know that most of you are afraid and nervous about the upcoming exam. Trust me, I've been in same shoes and I understand how you feel. I know that some of you in your mind, no matter how you study, something in your mind is always telling you that you're not doing enough. And some of you, no matter how you study, something in your mind is telling you that you're gonna fail. While some of you are just afraid that the exam is almost near. Trust me, it's a normal exam, and the purpose of this video is to teach you how I was able to score high in chemistry and the tricks and tips that I use that you can also use to replicate such success. And also in this video, I'll be sharing with you guys how I was able to memorize the first 20 elements, tricks and tips that I used, and how I was able to also memorize the activity series or the electrochemical series. You must know the electrochemical series before going to write Jamb. And in this video, I will also be sharing with you guys tips and how I memorized it. Trust me, it's gonna be fun. I'll be sharing with you guys tips that I use for memorizing things in oxidation and reduction reaction so that you won't be confused about it ever again. Also in this video, I'll be dropping the password to this textbook, Jamb recommended textbook, that you can use for preparing for your Jamb, and also the link to the textbook is in the video description. So let's get started. The number one factor that enabled me to score high in Jamb chemistry is that I studied and practiced without calculators. I know this could be very difficult for you guys, but trust me, it's possible. It's possible because most time in the exam hall, your calculator might not work. It's not a prayer that I'm praying for you, but most times students complain that their calculators are not working or that their calculators are slow. So to avoid this, I will recommend that you try your best to solve questions and practice questions without your calculator. Try and go and hide your calculator or put it somewhere that you won't see. I'll give it to someone to keep for you. But if you are the kind of person that cannot do without calculators, I would recommend that you use this kind of calculator, not scientific calculator, because scientific calculators are not going to be given to you in the exam hall. But if you practice with this calculator, you get accustomed to it because that is the same calculator that is programmed in the Jamb system for you guys. But trust me, if you can study without calculators, trust me, you'll be faster in your calculations and you also be prepared for the possibility of the calculator in your system not working. Secondly, do not think that all your questions are going to come from a particular topic in chemistry. Try to be at least 80% grounded in your Jamb syllabus in chemistry. Try to be at least 80% grounded, at least 80% of the topics in your syllabus. I know some of you might end up studying everything about organic chemistry while neglecting other topics, and you might get disappointed that when you get to the exam hall, you might not see any question related to organic chemistry. That is how crazy Jamb could be. You could spend all your time studying about inorganic chemistry, and when you get to the exam hall, you will now see only organic chemistry. And some of you might spend all your time studying about calculation questions, but you might get to the exam hall and you'll be disappointed that you might not see any calculation question. But that is why you need to be grounded in majority of the topics in your chemistry syllabus, so that wherever they are throwing the questions from, you are prepared for them. And don't just depend on a topic, because you might get disappointed when you get to the exam hall and you don't see a question from the topic that you were hoping they are gonna set questions from. So try your best to give equal attention to all the topics in your syllabus, because you don't know where the questions are gonna come from. They might just come from nuclear chemistry, they can come from radioactivity. Majority of your question might come from stoichiometry, they might come from matter, but you don't know where they are gonna come from. But that is why I recommend that you cover majority of your subject in the Jamb syllabus. The third trick or the third point that helped me to score high is that I went deep. Don't just read chemistry the same way you read your novel. Chemistry is not novel. You need to go deep. I know most of you will be complaining about poor background in chemistry. You guys are not in this alone, because in my secondary school I had a very poor background in chemistry. Trust me when I tell you that I didn't learn anything from my chemistry teacher. He will always come to class and give notes. He doesn't even teach. So I had to figure it out myself. And because I know that when you fail, people are not really concerned about where the secondary school you studied. They just want to know about your Jamb score, and it boosted my morale, and I had to study myself. Now there are many resources you can study from. You can study from YouTube, from the internet, and from other sources as well. Do not let anything bring you down. Do not let any excuse. People don't listen to excuses. So get and do the work. Do a deep work. Do a deep work, and don't be shy to ask your mates or your friends to help you out in your difficulties. Don't be afraid or shy to ask your friends or your teachers. The fourth tip that helped me to score high is that I did not memorize those past questions, because I know that most of you are memorizing past questions thinking that you are gonna see them in the exam hall. Trust me, if you memorize 100%, you might not even see any of them in the exam hall, because Jamb has a way of reframing the questions that it could look new, but if you really understood the concepts, you will know that they are just recycling questions. And that is why I recommend that you study using the investigative study method. I discussed more about it in this video, so after this video, try and go and watch out for it and watch the video. Don't just rely on your past questions and start memorizing it, because it could be harmful. You could get to the exam hall and you might not see any single question that you memorize, and you now start blaming people for telling you to study past questions. But if you can study using the investigative method that I discussed in this video, trust me that you will be better off. The fifth point that I use, that I will recommend for you guys, is to get a new notebook for your Jamb preparation, for your chemistry Jamb preparation. I'm not talking about the notebook you are using for your tutorials or the textbook that you used in your classes. I'm talking about buy a new textbook that you can be using for jotting down important concepts, and you can buy fancy pens to use in your notes. You need to see my notes. They are beautiful, because the brain functions with patterns and it loves colors. So you can get yourself beautiful pens and beautify your notes and get it organized, because that is how your brain can easily remember those notes. I'm not really talking about combining notes together. Please get individual notes and make them look neat and not scattered. Get organized, friend. The sixth point that helped me is memorization. Trust me, there are some concepts in chemistry that you can't just remember, and one of them is the first 20 elements. You can't just remember them by reading them like novels. You need to memorize or find acronyms to memorize them. And for me, what I used for memorizing my first 20 elements was hydrogen, helium, lithium, barium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, and calcium. That was how I was able to memorize the first 20 elements. Just find ways. You can use repetition, repeat it over time. And also I memorized the electrochemical series. It's compulsory that you memorize the first 20 elements. Don't forget, it's compulsory also that you memorize the activity or electrochemical series. And how I memorize it is that I use this funny word. I know it could be funny, but you won't forget it if you can listen to me and say it after me. Na, ka, mad, al, zin, fe, sin, bi, hi, ko, hi, gang, gal. So say it after me. Nakamagal zimpesimbi, hi ko, hi, gang, gal. Nakamagal zimpesimbi, hi ko, hi, gang, gal. I know this could be very funny, but it is a way of memorizing it. It's the way I used. It was very funny to me when I coined the word, but I found out that it's very interesting and I can't really forget about it even after years. And also I learned about the anion series, which are for so no CL Brayo. For so no CL Brayo. You can say it after me. For so no CL Brayo. I know that these concepts are very funny, but trust me, you're not gonna forget it. Are you not already enjoying the video? Why not hit the subscribe button and help me grow? And also, I also use oil rig for memorizing oxidation and reduction reaction. Oil rig. O means oxidation, I means is, L means loss. That means oxidation is the loss of electrons, and R there means reduction, I means is, G means gain. So reduction is the gain of electrons. Now it could be very confusing in the exam hall when you encounter oxidation and reduction questions, but if you use this trick, oil rig, which means oxidation is the loss of electrons and reduction is the gain of electrons, trust me, you're not gonna get confused when you get to the exam hall. There are other things too that you need to memorize that I might not discuss in this video, and I'll maybe discuss it in subsequent videos, but make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you'll be notified when I release them. But I am not yet done. The 7th tip that helped me to score high in Jamb Chemistry is that I use the recommended textbooks. Friends, use the recommended textbook, and if you ask me for a recommendation, I would say New School is still the best textbooks out there. Then other textbook and past question could be as a supplement, or they could just be an additional study material like LAMLA. They are additional study material, but the main primary study material you should use is the Jamb recommended textbook. But trust me, for Jamb to recommend textbook, there is a reason behind it, and the reason is that they formulate their questions from their recommended textbooks. Now the 8th point, which is very important, or even the most important, is revision. Now try your best to revise what you read. In fact, at a point in my study life, I found out that it is better for me not to study than studying without revising. I'll say it again. I discovered something about me that it is better not to study than studying without revising, because you will get confused in the exam hall. I know that most of you, with the passion you have, you just want to continue going and going and going and completing the topics, and thinking that maybe if you can complete all the topics, then you can come back for revision. But trust me, most times you might not be able to complete the topics, and you might not be able to do the revisions. Trust me, if you don't revise, you are preparing for failure. It's almost like not reading. You would have spent a lot of time knowing many things and not focusing and understanding them. You will forget it. The brain needs revision. So I recommend, instead of studying everything and not rehearsing or revising everything, I will better stick to studying few and knowing very much about the few I know. Because Jamb doesn't just ask you questions, they ask you questions based on how deep you are and how you are able to remember things you read. So it's not just about covering lots of topic. The main thing there is, can you revise what you read? You might have written or jotted down many things and you might not revise it. That is very catastrophic to your success in this exam. So make sure you revise whatever you jot down in your note. Your personal notes are not for fun, so make sure you revise them. That's why I recommend practice, practice, practice. It makes perfection. Now my 9th point is eat well, have a healthy diet, please, not just drinking garri. Eat well and try to find rest, try to sleep well too. I know the tensions might not be allowing you to sleep well, but trust me, sleep is very important for refreshing and even assimilating. Also, try your best to pray, because prayer is also a contributing factor to success. Now, the last but not the least is study when your brain assimilates the most. Study when your brain assimilates the most. Now, if you study at the wrong time, you might hate chemistry, because chemistry requires calmness of the mind. I discussed more about the best time for you to study in this video. Feel free to go and check it out after this video. And by the way, I scored 99 in physics in my 2020 Jamb exam. You can hit the subscribe button, like this video, and turn on your notification icon so that you'll be notified when I release my next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and go and start reading right now.